All right, for the math class this week, we're going to do all Math 1 first. And we're going to do all your assignments. The nice thing about Math 1 this week is it deals with fractions, decimals, and percentages. On your first page, you are going to see some shaded boxes. Basically, it's going to say out of 100. So you're going to see a whole bunch of boxes that look like this. And it's going to be like this. It's going to have 100 boxes, and 7 of them are going to be shaded in. So that would be 7 out of 100, and that would be 7%. So when you have a box where 16 boxes are filled in of the 100, that's 16%. If 50 boxes are filled in of the 100, that's 50%. Okay? That's the top part of page 4 and 5 on that one. The other part is they're going to give you 22 over 100. Well, it's just like the shading. 22 over 100 is 22%. Okay? Because the percentage is always based off 100. You have 100%. Okay? So if I have 19 out of 100, that's 19%. If I've got 3 out of 100, that's 3%. So that's for how you write that. Okay. On page 164, you're going to do all of these assignments. I know we didn't have school Monday, but you might as well do all 4 of these assignments this week because they're pretty easy. And it's easy percentages, so you might as well get the easy points. All right. The first part, it's decimal to a percent. When you have a decimal like 0.03, you just move it over 2 spots and you write the percent. So 0.03, 1, 2, that becomes 3%. If I've got 1.25, I move that over 1, 2 spots. Now I have 125%. Okay? So if I have 0.10, I move it over 2 spots. That's 10%. Okay? That's on some of the worksheets that you're going to do is changing decimal to a percent. It's very easy. You're moving it 2 spots this way. Okay? Changing fractions to a percent. All you do is you take the top number divided by the bottom number. 1 divided by 2 is 0.50. Now we just move that over 2 spots again. 1, 2, and that becomes 50%. Pretty simple. 15 divided by 16 becomes 0.9375. To change that to a percent, we move it over 2 spots. That's 93.75%. Okay, so the fractions, you take this divided by this, you're going to come up with a decimal, and then you change it to a percent. If they gave you something like this, 2.5, the half would become 50%, so that would be 250%. Because you just add that number in front of it. That's all you do. Okay, so if it's 2.5, the half is 50%. You keep the 2 there. It's 250%. Another example of this is changing 7/15. It becomes 0.466666. You move it over 2 spots. 1, 2. It becomes 46.7%. And you can round that up. Okay? And that's on page 164. Now from percent to a fraction, everything is over 100. So this would be 11 over 100. Now 11 can't be reduced. 11 over 100 cannot be reduced. So you can leave your answer as 11 over 100. That's like saying 53%. You put it over 100, and it can't be reduced. That's your fraction. Okay? Now 25% can be 25 over 100. Now that can be reduced. That can be reduced down to 1/4. Okay, so you have to do the reduction on that. 2% is 2 over 100. Well, 2 goes into 100, right? One time. So we reduce it to a fraction of 1 over 50. Okay? Another example is 75%. 75 over 100. Divide them both by 25, and you have 3/4. That's your reduced fraction. So that's going to be what on your worksheets you're going to do this week. You're going to do 161 You are going to do 164. Then you're going to do the fraction decimal worksheet. Then the last, on page 167, you're going to do percent of a number. Okay? All you do is you change this percent to a decimal, to 0.10, and then you multiply it by whatever that number is. So 10% of 50, you take 50 times 0.10, that becomes 5. Okay? 12% of 75, move this over to be 0.12. Take your number 75 times 0.12, and you come up with 9. So basically, you get the percent, you move it over to a decimal, 0.12, and then you take it on your calculator times that number. So I have 6% of 40. I move that over 2, that becomes 0.06. I take 0.06 times 40. My number is 2.4. Okay? All that is moving it over 2 spots and multiplying. Okay? But I want you to do all 4 days of this assignment this week and turn them in. All right?